So this evening, I may also refer to everyone as CCPS builders because we're all instrumental to building a better tomorrow today. So once again, welcome to our final stop for the Superintendent CEO of Schools Blueprint Series Tour. So let's give Dr. Anthony W. Smith a round of applause for being our dynamic leader. Thank you, Dr. Smith, and we'll formally introduce him in a moment. But tonight, Dr. Smith will share with everyone his vision. He will reiterate the 5 priorities that are really driving the work, and we refer to those as the blueprint for how we're going to build a better tomorrow today. He probably will highlight some points of pride. Everyone should have picked up a document that lists some of those special gems. It's a 1-pager, and it looks like this, and we have it in multiple translations. And so he may highlight some points of pride as well as share any forecasted plans for how we're all going to work together to improve outcomes in our school system. And it requires all of us, all stakeholders, working together. It takes a village. So at this time, before I do formal introductions of our distinguished guests, I want to invite up one of our students, Cadet Master Sergeant Lee, who will do a welcome on behalf of school leadership, staff, and her peers. So Cadet Master Sergeant Lee, if you would join me up front to welcome our guests.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Cadet Master Sergeant Lee. This is my second year here in the AFJROTC in the 10th grade at Morrow High School, where our motto is excellence without excuses. My cumulative GPA is a 3.8, and my current position here in the GA 791 is Senior Non-Commissioned Officer in charge of Airman Academy. And my plans after high school consist of going to Harvard University Law School and becoming a lawyer. All right. All right, to start off the evening, I would like to thank our Superintendent, Dr. Anthony Smith, and Clayton County faculty and staff for taking time out of your day to come to this important occasion. On behalf of our outstanding new principal, Mr. Harrell, we would like to welcome you to Morrow High School, the home of the Mighty Mustangs, where we strive for excellence without excuses. As a student of Morrow High School, I have gotten multiple opportunities to demonstrate my success through the programs that my school has provided for us, such as the magnet programs, AFJROTC, the Honors Aviation Program, the CTAE Career Pathways, our STEM program, and etc. Morrow High School symbolizes resilience, integrity, and self-discipline that help shape students' experience at this high school. Like other schools across our amazing school system, the facility and staff here help students get a better understanding of themselves while learning the technical aspects of becoming a successful individual during high school and after graduation. I am proud to be Mighty Mustang because we are building a better tomorrow today. At this time, Dr. Ebony Lee will return to review the agenda and introduce the distinguished guests. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's give her another round of applause. Great job. And she's a Clayton County product, right? Yes. So you all, you see that Cadet Lee is just an example of what we want for all of our students. You can see the pride that she has not only in her school facility, but in the program offerings, and she's already visualizing her future. And what I hear from Dr. Smith is he wants all of our students to have that opportunity today so that they are prepared tomorrow. And that takes the collective guidance and wisdom of all of us working together. So as you're listening to Superintendent Smith this evening, I want us all to reflect on our role and our responsibility for really pushing that vision forward and the manifestation of those 5 priorities so that we could have more examples of Cadet Lee. So at this time, I would like to acknowledge board members. Do we have any Clayton County Public Schools board members present this evening? If you would, please stand to be acknowledged. Let's thank them in their absence. They're always so supportive. Do we have any Clayton County Foundation members present? Okay. Let's acknowledge them as well for their tremendous financial support. Are there any other elected or appointed officials present this evening? I know we have district and school level administrators. Do we have core cabinet members present? If so, please stand. There are division leads who really help to push the mission forward. Thank you. School leaders, principals or assistant principals, please stand at this time. Thank you for your dynamic leadership for your community. And this evening we have representation from communities Morrow High School, Mount Zion High School, and Forest Park High School. Do we have any Teachers of the Year present? All right. Teacher of the Year representing Painting Elementary, and our Teachers of the Year through the creative idea of Mrs. Rice. They had a photo shoot and special makeup and just had a wonderful day, and that's occurring throughout this week for our Teacher of the Years. Do we have any Village on Patrol representatives here this evening who are so critical to our safety and security? Awesome. And any other community business leaders, stakeholders, higher ed, any other partnerships who are here? And then, of course, we thank our parents, caregivers, we thank our teachers, all of our teachers, for their work that they're doing every day for our scholars. A special acknowledgement to our communications division. Raise your hand and wave for you all being here. I see our executive directors in the back, Ms. Jada Dawkins and Ms. Shakira Rice, and all of our team members who are capturing and covering tonight's event. Thank you for our translation services and our equipment and everyone. So we're ready to get started. So at this time, I am going to introduce our Senior Deputy Chief of Staff, Dr. Douglas Hendricks, who is so critical, again, to the work that we're doing. He provides great oversight and support to all of Dr. Smith's divisions. So you saw core cabinet members stand. He works very closely with us to make sure we're working on the work. So we've been very intentional with identifying challenges and pressing issues. And so he provides, again, that expert guidance and accountability to make sure that we are pushing forward. I would like to say, when we talked about this evening, Dr. Hendricks stated he felt he was coming back home. So I encountered Dr. Hendricks as a teacher, and he left the school where we were working to pursue an administrative position. And he came to Morrow High School as assistant principal. And so from being assistant principal at Morrow, now not this facility, another facility, and he did great work there, he went on to become a principal at Adamson Middle School and continued to just be instrumental to their achievement. And so the rest is history. So at this time, I'll introduce Dr. Douglas Hendricks Sr. to introduce our superintendent. Let's welcome Dr. Hendricks.
Hello, everybody. I always feel at home. Well, this is not Morrow. What city is this? Ellenwood? But it's Morrow High School, and it services the community that I not only worked in, but I lived in for about 20 years. And so I'm very proud to be a Mustang. Once a Mustang, always a Mustang. I have the great pleasure of introducing someone who's not only my supervisor, he is my friend. And I make no bones about that. But he's also a very qualified, high quality, empathetic, and altruistic leader. Dr. Anthony Smith has climbed every rung on the ladder. He's been a teacher. He's been an assistant principal. He's been a principal. He's been an assistant superintendent over many schools. I think up until recently, when we had a few switches in some of our principals, he had supervised every single one of them at least 1 year of their career. He's been our chief academic officer. He's been our deputy superintendent. He's held many jobs, to include being over our operations. He's one of the few leaders you'll find probably in the nation who has both academic and operational experience. He's prime time. And above all things, he's a good guy with great intentions. He wants every child to be successful. He's a doting father. But even more than that, he is a very loving grandfather. My children even call him Uncle Anthony. Say, call your uncle and ask him for whatever you want for Christmas. He's an outstanding man. And everyone should get behind him and support what he's trying to do. Building a better tomorrow is not about today. Living on earth is not about today. It's not about us. It's about what we do for those who follow us. Be it your children, be it the people who come after us that you want to leave a legacy for. That's what our whole existence should be about. And that's definitely what our school system is about. And Dr. Smith is the one who's pushing forward that mission. And he's not settling for anything but greatness. And so we will rise as we follow him. I promise you, you have the right man at the job. And I ask that you continue to give him great support, because I promise you he's supporting this community, and he's supporting these children, he's supporting the staff, he's supporting the parents. He's that type of guy. He's a stand-up person. Please help me welcome my friend, our superintendent, Dr. Anthony W. Smith.
At Clayton County Public Schools, our mantra, building a better tomorrow today, isn't just words. It's a commitment to our students, parents, teachers, and community. Guided by Superintendent Smith's visionary leadership, we're focusing on 5 priorities that will shape our journey into the future. We're creating safe schools and fostering a wonderful work environment for all, a place where every student and staff member can thrive. Through improved instruction, we're elevating the learning experience, igniting a passion for knowledge, and driving academic achievement to new heights. Our strong business partnerships and unwavering financial stability ensure that Clayton County Public Schools remains a pillar of our community's growth and success. We're streamlining our administration, optimizing resources, and cultivating a culture of innovation to pave the way for even greater success. Our commitment to excellence extends beyond the classroom as we embark on facility improvements and special projects that empower our students to dream big and achieve more. Together, we're shaping a future that is brighter, bolder, and better than ever before. Because at Clayton County Public Schools, we're not just building a better tomorrow, we're making it a reality today. Join us on this remarkable journey as we shape minds, build dreams, and create a legacy that will inspire generations to come.
All right, thank you. Thank you, communications team. Thank you, my great colleague and dear friend, Dr. Douglas Hendricks, our Senior Deputy Superintendent Chief of Staff. I'd like to thank my cabinet members, all of the leadership members at the school sites, all of the employees that support this great school system. I particularly want to thank Mr. Labinat Harrell, the great principal of this fine institution. We appreciate you hosting this event tonight, Mr. Harrell and staff. And I want to thank all of the people who have came out tonight, particularly our parents and our students and our community members. Thank you for coming out and being interested in the future of your family and this community. By being here, you represent and demonstrate that commitment, and we appreciate it. There's a few people I want to acknowledge. Colonel King over here is the senior junior ROTC instructor, been with us for a long time and has made some incredible strides in the junior ROTC program, bringing the flight program here to Morrow High School, one of the most robust and nationally acclaimed high school aviation program in the country. I don't have to tell y'all about that. Y'all know. And the man's reputation precedes himself, and the work that he's doing is absolutely incredible, along with his staff, Chief Walker, and all that support the junior ROTC program. I want to thank Ms. Avis, Mr. and Mrs. Walker, who is the president for the regional PTSAs around Clayton County, for the phenomenal job that they do. Oh my goodness, they're a team. We got a 2-for-1. You know, when you see her, you see him. They represent not only dignity and quality, but they represent strong values for families. I so much appreciate seeing y'all. I really do. There's a real special person. Everybody's special. There's a real special lady that y'all probably don't know about. Hey, one of my former students. I ain't gonna call you out. But that is an incredible community member. And believe it or not, is responsible for all of the great things you see over here in the Morrow community. Have been pushing on me for years, fighting for Morrow community and ensuring that the students, staff, and families get everything that they deserve. She does it with dignity, don't get me wrong, but nevertheless with a degree of aggression and compassion. And will call me day and night, Dr. Smith, you need to blah, 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 and you need to get this for us, and our students need this, and our families. And I listen to her because she is so dedicated to this community. And the person I'm referring to, I don't know if she's still on the PTSA board or not, but if she's not, that's fine, because she served her time and has done a phenomenal job for so many years. And the phenomenal lady I'm talking about is sitting right here, Miss Thomas. I want to publicly thank you, Miss Thomas. Not only did you push me, but you supported me too. You always encouraged me and was always by my side. You know, so I just want to make certain that you know, and this public and this community know what you've done for me and my career. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Miss Thomas. All right, we're here to talk about the school system and where we're trying to go, and the great progress that we're making, and trying to get everybody on board to help us do this. It can't be just us, the staff. Got to be family members. Appreciate this wonderful mother. Got her children here with her tonight, and she is dedicated to her family, and it's represented by her being here tonight and many others. We need everybody's help on this journey, and we're going to talk about our priorities, and we're going to talk about the commitment that we need from everybody. Now, for a public school system, generally, the first priority should be student achievement. That's our core business. But we live in some crazy times. I think everybody will agree to that. And the world is so different than it was a mere 15, 20 years ago, let alone when I grew up and went to school. And so we have to adjust to the ever-changing times within our society. And as our society has gotten more violent, we have to adapt to that. And that is one of the reasons why safety and culture is our number one priority. This great mother right here, I tell people all the time, for those kids to have a 4.0 means nothing unless they're having a good experience along the way, not being bullied and feeling safe. That's the kind of environment that all mothers and fathers want to send their children to, first and foremost. Then they want them to achieve great academic success. Am I on point with that assessment? And so that's why safety and culture is our number one priority. And that means that doesn't mean just putting in a metal detector and asking kids to walk through that. That means a whole lot of things. That means an attitude shift. That means more vigilance from everybody. That would mean we got to pay attention. Anything can happen. We've done a lot of stuff to enhance security, to include perimeter security, making certain that the wrong folks don't get on campus and the people that are on campus are here for the right purposes. We've instituted the alert system to give our teachers a greater degree of security within those classrooms in the event that something happens. And we can connect them to the administration and to the security people with great ease and with quickness, Mrs. Brown. We've done so many things. We've hired additional staff to beef up the security around the schools. We've done a ton of things. We've instituted some strong disciplinary programs relative to our students' behavior. And I think that overwhelmingly in the community, the parents appreciate that. And we were bold enough to say, no, enough's enough. You know, we understand the ills of society. We understand the baggage that a lot of students bring with them due to no fault of their own. That's one of the reasons why we've gotten Dr. April Crawford on board as our Deputy Superintendent for Student Support Services to adjust our support with the ever-changing times within our society, to make certain that those supports are available for not just our students, but for our families. But we cannot allow for whatever issues that they may be dealing with to impact the entire school community. We can't do that. I'm not going to allow for innocent children who come to school, like these two fine young men right here, to pay the price for the ills and the baggage for someone else. We've got to get the society to step up and help us with that. We can't keep continuing to ask the children sitting beside them in the classroom to pay for that. But when I mean pay for that, I mean having their educational opportunities impacted. And I don't care if we provide a top-notch education and they get out of here with a 4.0, it's still going to be very competitive out there. Could you imagine if we send them out into the world and they don't have a great education because every time they go to class, the teacher can't get through the lesson because they got to deal with disruption. That happens, or used to happen. And I have a heart for those children. And that's why we're investing in making certain. Who's this cute little girl right here? Callie. Hey, sweetie, aren't you cute? We're not going to let anybody get in the way of you having a great education. So my point is that, oh, by the way, we just got a board member came in, Mrs. Victoria Williams. And do we have another one that came in? School board member? Oh, right there you go. This is her school, Mrs. George Tillis Cooper. You want to say anything right quick?
No, just, I'm going to go ahead and let this be your show tonight, but I'm glad to be here. And again, I'm Joy Tillis Cooper and Miss Victoria Williams back there. Thank you. You're doing a good job.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Mrs. Williams, anything you want to say? You don't want to say I'm doing a good job? Say hello to the crowd.
Hello, crowd. I'm Victoria Williams. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. It's good seeing the parents actually come out participating. And ask all your questions tonight while everybody is here, please. Don't send emails tomorrow. Go on Facebook. Ask them now in front of everybody while you're here so it can be out in the open.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. I appreciate y'all being here tonight. We got some phenomenal board members, all of them. And but anyway, like I was saying, I can't allow for the innocent children to pay the price for the ills of society by allowing for all of those disruptions to happen and their children not get a superior. You want to help me co-present? Say something to the crowd. Say hello. Say hi. But anyway, we can't allow for that. So that's one of the reasons why we've instituted the program at the elementary school called the Opportunity Room. And what the Opportunity Room does is allow for a disruptive student to be removed and go to an environment where they have concentrated supports to help them with their behavior, not just to continue their assignments in isolation, but to also work on their behavior with those concentrated supports. So when we get them back into the classroom, we got a child that now is more focused and able and willing to learn without those disruptions. Now it gets a little more serious at the secondary level with middle and high school students. We have instituted a program, Dr. Keith Colbert, the chief of schools, a program called YES, Youth Empowerment Services. And what that does, when a student displays those disruptive behaviors, 'cause- 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 'cause depending on the significance of it and the severity of it, they got to go home for a while and learn in a remote environment called virtual. And we got to get the parents to help us mitigate those problems. And just like the elementary school level opportunity room, we provide concentrated supports. Even send folks out to the house, counselors, social workers, psychologists, behavior specialists. Whatever the behavior requires in terms of us working on and mitigating, we'll provide those supports. But we need the assistance of the parents to help us with that. It's not just going to be the school system alone that's going to fix all of these problems. Parents got to step up, period. There's no way a school system is going to thrive unless we ask, quite frankly, demand that the parents step up and be a part of what we're doing. And that don't mean having to come to school and volunteer and give out pencils and notepads and monitor the halls. That's good if you do that. But it comes in the form of many ways, many looks. Making certain your kid get to school on time. Making certain that they have some quiet time to focus on doing their homework assignments. Making certain that you routinely check in with the teacher to make certain that they're doing what they need to do, and making certain that if there are any assistance you can provide, that they share that with you. Comes in many forms. Many forms. But moving forward, like I've said, the negative behavior with students will not be the sole responsibility of the school system. It will be a shared responsibility of the school system and the parents. So if you like me, when my kids was growing up and I didn't want them at home with the AC all the way up and eating all the food instead of being at school, then help us with that behavior so we don't reach that point. Because they will be home with you. And it might be an inconvenience to you relative to your job, which we don't want. But more than not wanting that, I want these two young men right here to get a great opportunity at life. And it's called a good education. So I'm committed to that. And I'll fight for that. And I think in the overwhelming majority of our parents support that. And those kids, once we work on their behavior, Dr. Crawford, we get them right back in the schools, right? Dr. Colbert, we get them right back in the schools. As a matter of fact, we want them in the schools versus being virtual. So we do all we can to work on those behaviors so we can get them fixed and send them on back so they can learn and be able to compete in this mean old world. So that's our first priority, safety and culture. Now, there are some expectations that we have for three groups of people. Our students, and we've talked about that. We've talked about the opportunity room. We've talked about the YES program. We've hired a man that pays close attention to student negative behavior and makes certain he worked with them to change that. This guy sitting right here called Mr. Melvin Blocker, former principal of Mount Zion High School. Yes, indeed. He's a good guy, and he's compassionate even with those students that display that negative behavior, but you don't tolerate that nonsense in the schools, do you, Mr. Blocker? And so he's helping us make certain that we monitor and talk with these kids. Actually, he's being proactive. He's out there prior to them doing something just that will allow for us to take the decision from us and have to give it to the law enforcement folks. He's talking with them. He's pulling those kids together and having conferences with them, speaking with them about their behavior, trying to get them to consider being a part of something special, whether it's athletics or just trying to get them involved. So he doesn't just deal with the issue and that's it. No, he's out there trying to make certain that we don't have to deal with the issue by doing a lot of proactive things. So Mr. Block, I just want to tell you, thank you for the great job that you're doing. You're making a tremendous difference with our students' behavior. And there's so many others. Now, students, we're going to hold you accountable. You got to be. You got to learn how to be held accountable now. So when you go out into that world, you good to go. You know how to conduct yourselves in all settings, basically. You know how to display patience and discipline and all those kinds of things that's necessary in order for you to be thriving adults. Those are the things that we're trying to make certain that you embrace and understand at a young age. So you don't get out there with some false sense of, oh, I can do anything I want to. and they don't have ISS out there. It's called jail. They don't have no tolerance program where you go and work on your attitude with concentrated support on your job. It's called being fired. So we want to make sure that our students understand that clearly. So we're going to hold students accountable and hold them to a certain level of expectations. Why wouldn't we? Sometimes society, looks around at certain communities and have an expectation that that's how they're supposed to behave. Not us in Clayton County. We don't believe that. We know our students know how to behave. We know our parents want the best for their children, and we're trying to make sure that we support them with that. That's one group. Second group is our educators, our staff members. We're going to hold our staff members to a higher level of expectation, a higher standard than we've had in the past. You've got to work with our students, and you've got to be committed. You can't treat our children any kind of a way. You can't say any old thing to our children. You're not going to do that unless you got some plans to be somewhere else, because we're going to help you with that if you display that kind of behavior and disrespect our children. Not going to do that. So we're holding our staff members to a high level of expectation in terms of their behavior too. You got to come to work. You got to be on time. You got to be supportive of the administration. You got to reach out to parents. You got to work with the community. You got to do all those things. If you don't do those things as an educator, I don't care how much we hold our students accountable, you're not going to have a thriving education system. You're just not. Now, before I get into the second priority, let me talk about the last group of individuals that we're going to hold accountable. And I'm going to let my good friend, Dr. Douglas Hendricks, speak about that and share a quick video with you. Our parents. I'm trying to figure out who created some kind of rule or law that parents have read somewhere on the internet or somewhere saying, it's all right to go up to the school and cuss a teacher out. It's all right to come up to the school with your pajamas on. It's all right to just say any old thing to our staff members and our administration that you want to say. Not in Clayton County Public Schools. Not in Clayton County Public Schools. You wouldn't want that to happen to your children? You wouldn't want nobody to come in your environment being disrespectful, mean, and ugly? Then we're not going to have it here either. Our children don't need to see that nonsense. Our staff members don't need to tolerate that. And we will not allow it. So we're asking parents, and when I tell you I know that don't apply to the parents that's sitting in this room tonight, because you're here. And you care. And when you care, you watch that kind of stuff. And you being here today displays how much you care about your children and this community. So I'm going to not belabor the point. I'm going to allow for Dr. Hendricks, because I mess around and be said the wrong thing and have gotten myself in trouble with these great parents. And I don't mean to do that, because I love my parents. I love our parents. And I love the fact that you send your children here to the school system trusting that we're going to do well by them. So I'm working hard to make certain I satisfy that level of expectation with you. That's why we're doing all the things that we're doing. That's why we're making these bold decisions about how we run the school system. It's risky to do all that stuff. Tell a kid, you're going to go home for a while, be with your parents. That's risky. Folks don't venture down that much at all these days in school systems. But I believe in this community, I believe in this school system, and I'm going to do my due diligence with making certain that we create the best possible system that we can. So Dr. Hendricks, if you will you hammer that point about our expectations for parents, please, sir?
Yes, sir. We'll just go over just a couple of things really quick. In order to change, we have to change, right? And culture is the responsibility of all of us. And this is a culture conversation that we're having. We all know that we want to be different, we want to be better. Am I right? We chase perfection forever. So there are 4 steps to communicating with the school, and we should know those, right? You don't just run right to the superintendent. Problems are handled best where they start. Because if we're actually being partners, we're handling situations and we're maintaining those partnerships. Remember, your relationship with the school is one of partnership and collaboration. So you start at the school with the teacher. If by chance satisfaction is not going there, you move up to the assistant principal. Every school has a principal for a reason. You go there next. We believe that most situations will be handled in places somewhere in that mix. But in case you don't find the gratitude or the teamwork that you need at that level, each principal reports to an assistant superintendent. And those assistant superintendents, and it should not get this far. Hopefully it's not because people are unreasonable, but it goes to the chief of staff. I mean, not chief of staff, excuse me. It goes to the chief of schools to respond to. The chief of schools. And so those are the 4 steps for protocol for responding to issues. And we got to do it that way. We can't just run you run to Coca-Cola and tell them you want to see the CEO because he needs to change the taste of Coca-Cola. You'll be there until you're elderly. Next slide, please. Now, we got to have prohibited behaviors. And if I'm being honest, our society, and Doc has talked about this a lot, has changed so much. People have a propensity to choose emotions over thoughts. And if we're going to be great, we have to reverse that. And we got to think. We got to think. You know, just the other day, my son got punched in the I think he got slapped in the face. The assistant principal said, I just want you to know your son got slapped in the face. I said, what? I got emotional. Who slapped him? Where's his daddy? No. But you know, that's my 1 grain of sand. And I want to make sure that he's okay. But when I used my brain, I said, well, can we all get together and talk? And are the other adults here? Yeah, we got together. The school did a great job of mediating it. Why'd you smack Deuce? That's my son's name. Because he called me short. Well, if y'all will both stand up, please. Stood up. My son's shorter than you. You get to the thing, and then grown folks tell children what they're going to do in collaboration with the school is what I'm trying to tell you. That's what we got to do. But using physical contact or intimidation towards staff members will get you a ride in a car that you didn't come in. Okay? And I don't know another way to say that. And I don't know another way to say that. Yes, sir. Not Uber. Not Uber. Not Uber. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but at some point in time, we've got to make a decision that we're either going to educate children together or we're going to have to move you out of the way and do it by ourselves. Okay? But it's going to get done. Nothing will hinder children having a chance. That's what I'm trying to say. Using rude or aggressive hand gestures, just beneath a person who calls themselves an adult. That's all I can say. Reasonable people understand reasonable things. I don't think we should have any discussion beyond that. Using any verbal intimidation or abuse, you might as well hit me because, once again, a ride that you didn't pay for is going to be involved. We can do better. Most parents don't do this, by the way. And those of you who don't do it in your parents, you're like, do people actually do that? I promise you they do. They've been doing it for a while. Violating the school security procedures. In a minute, we'll talk about how you're supposed to come to the school and what's supposed to happen when you get there and how you exit out. It's all a part of our policy, and we tell you, and we want you to come. We want you to come, but we want you to come in the spirit of collaboration. Sending harassing emails and phone calls. And we want to help you, and we're going to help you. But we cannot forget that school is an all-day affair, which means we have to get to things when there's a moment to get to them. And we are going to get to it, I promise you. And the harassing emails and other things, they serve us no justice. They don't do anything for our partnership. And in fact, they push us further apart. And just like any divided house, children cannot be successful when the people who are supposed to be collaborating over their well-being are separated, okay? Now, this is promulgated by policy. It's a policy, board policy, KM. It's called visitation of schools. But it basically just says how you come in and visit the schools. You know, you can't just come in and say, well, where is that person that I'm coming to see, and just storm down the hall. You can't do that. We always check into the office. That's for your safety. That's for everybody in the school's safety, right? And we want to know that you're there. You check in. You check in, okay? And then eventually, when it comes to visiting classrooms, if you're not the parent or guardian of that person, you're not visiting one of the students. You got to be the legal guardian or the parent. That's it. There's no other person that can come in and see children. We have a responsibility. The law says that in loco parentis, that means that we the parent in the parent's absence. And we take that serious. Last slide, please. Now this one's serious, and Doc talked about it a little bit. There are some prohibited behaviors in terms of dress that we have to adhere to. And I know, you know, a little chuckling and it seems funny, but realistically, we have a responsibility. Yeah, listen, the school is the aspiration of the community. There's no way that we can control and mold and help children if we take ourselves down to a certain level. So we figure if you come to school with pajamas on, you didn't come in the building. You just came to hang outside until we can get your child to you, because you won't be able to come in the building with pajamas on. We're trying to create scientists and lawyers and doctors and entrepreneurs, and that's a mentality that we're not trying to spread throughout the school building. Pajamas are not allowed in the school. You can wear them, but you'll do your business from the outside, respectfully, okay? Sagging pants, displaying underwear. I'll be so glad when that trend goes away. I don't understand it. I don't care where it came from. It's time for that one to go. I had a Jerry curl when I was young, and I'm glad it's gone. I'm sure you are too as you look at me. Clothes depicting harmful or disruptive images. Some people don't even let their children watch scary movies. I don't watch scary movies. And you're going to come up here with Jason and somebody choking somebody on a shirt and beer and Budweiser and all that kind of stuff. We don't do that. We have to be the aspirations of the community. The aspirations. This is a place of learning. It's second only to a house of worship. We got to come here and we're going to put some respect on this school, on every one of them, because our children deserve that. Finally, revealing attire. Leave it where you got it. Don't come in here with that. That's wrong. Reasonable people understand reasonable requests. That's a reasonable request. Come in here at least covered up. We're not even going to leave you outside uncovered. We're going to ask that you leave the premises. Be respectful to what we're trying to do, even if you don't come in and help us every day. Be respectful of what we're trying to do. We got to look like it before we can be it. We got to look like it before we can be it. So we ask these things. We appreciate the partnership. We know we're not even talking to you. But hopefully the people who see this later or see it on Channel 24 or wherever it's aired, they understand that we are more than serious. In order to change, we must change. And we're going to hold everyone to this. And we're going to hold ourselves to a high standard, as our superintendent just said. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Hendricks. Great message, great message. All right, priority number one, safety and culture. Myself and Dr. Hendricks, we've touched on various points centered around that expectation. The next one is academic achievement, our core business. We've done some remarkable changes relative to a new academic platform that we think will garner us greater results. I'm going to let my expert colleague right here, who's worked alongside me for many years, when I was the chief academic officer, she supported the school system and myself in that work, and she has a brilliant mind and a great team to support her in this role. So I want you to hear straight from her mouth about the great platform and direction that we're going relative to the efforts that we're putting into our better academic achievement. This is Dr. Delphia Young. She's our Deputy Superintendent for Teaching and Learning and Strategic Improvement. Dr. Young.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for those wonderful remarks. But I tell you, don't believe a word he said, okay? No, I am just very excited about being here today. I actually retired in 2017. And so I was retired, and so my wonderful leader became superintendent, and it has been a joy to come back to Clayton County and to work as the deputy superintendent. So thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to come back and support the wonderful kids and families that we have in Clayton County Public Schools. But before I start, I would like for all of the members of the Division of Teaching and Learning and Strategic Improvement to please stand, because I want the families to see who you are. Please stand. Don't be afraid. These are the men and women who are, oh, wait a minute, a group is missing. Principals, you all keep forgetting you under the Division of Teaching and Learning and Strategic Improvement. These are the men and women who are out there in the trenches every day giving you the best. Thank you, take a seat. Giving you, your children, everything that they have to ensure that we give them the best quality education possible. And so with that being said, I personally would like to say thank you. And as you leave tonight, please, families, say thank you. We say that you appreciate the work that they're doing. And so let's get started, Dr. Lee. And so before I start, I want you to think about, why do you send your children to school every day? What do you want from them? What do you want them to be? And when you think about that, we in Clayton County Public Schools, we have been thinking about that too. And when we receive them as early as pre-K, and when we graduate them in 12th grade, we have a mission, we have a vision of what we want to do. We want all of our students, every graduate, we want them to be able to, if you look at there, to read proficiently. We want them to be, think about things as a critical problem solver. We want them to be able to communicate effectively. We want them to also demonstrate good character. You heard Dr. Smith and Dr. Hendrick talk about safety and secure, a good positive culture and climate. We want that for our students. We want them to exude self-awareness. We want them to be confident. We want them to have good self-management. We want them to have the confidence that they can achieve anything. We also, you know that we have for our grades 3 through 12, one-to-one technology. We not only want them to use those computers, we want them to design things. You walk around here in Morrow High School, and you go into all of their labs, you can see where our kids are not only using the technology, but they are the creators and producers of technology. We want them to be able to be the leaders of today and tomorrow. We want to build in them the capacity to collaborate. We want them to communicate. We want them to have the passion and manifest the passions and the desires that they have. We want them to also exhibit a cultural awareness to embrace others, to embrace diversity, to embrace inclusivity. And we also want to make sure that we are preparing our students to be able to compete locally, regionally, globally in this world. And so these are the characteristics that we are building in your children every day as they come here to Clayton County Public Schools. And we do it with a big team, but we have to rely on you as parents to also work with us, to partner with us. And we ask that you continue to do that. And so where are we in terms of the data? Now, if you look here on this infographic, it's kind of telling. The first thing I want to share with you, we have 69 different sites. 6 to 7 of them are school sites, and then we have some programs as well. We have a $1.2 billion revenue budget. That's not billion dollars. That's a lot of money. Do we agree? It's a lot of money that you as taxpayers and other programs that we have to support the education of the children of Clayton County Public Schools. We also have about 51,000 students and approximately 7,000 employees who are working with our 52,000 students. And when we look at some of our performance data, look at the left-hand side, that is our Georgia Milestone Assessment System, and parents probably know this, called the GMAS. These are our outcomes for the 23 school year. And when you look at the performance for our math, we look at 1 and 5 of our students are passing math, 20%. When we look at our language arts, we see 1 out of 4, that's 25%, who are proficient or pass the test. And when we look at the students who are at an above grade level reading, it's 50%. Now let me say this to you. This is not where we want to be. Do you agree? Okay? You all okay? Got it? Right? And so we need your support. We need your support in many, many different ways. And some of those ways are this, simple as this. Make sure your child come to school every day. Not only just come to school, and especially in high school, they come in, make sure they stay in. And they go to classes. And when parents, when you receive phone calls, when we ask them for help, please help us. When you receive, how many of you received or looked at your children's grades recently? Oh. Again, parents, we need your help. We need you to look at your children's grades. Go into Infinite Campus. Look at them. Make a schedule to look at your child's grade. Make a schedule to talk to your children about how they're doing in school. Let's not wait until the report cards come out. Let's do this early so that we can get our students in the right places. If your child needs help, we have tutorial available. Let's talk about that. In our high school, we have a program called AIR for high school, and that's Action with Intended Results, called AIR. You've heard about it in the news. It's been in the national news. It's been in the local news. At high school, we have our tutoring service and support right there after school. And for our elementary and middle school students from grades 3 through 8, we're going to begin Saturday, November the 11th to start. We want students who need support to take advantage of these opportunities. Now, this is just one of the many opportunities. We also have what we call tutor.com, tutor.com, and here is 24/7 virtual tutoring. And in the next 4 weeks, you're going to hear about another big tutoring program. I don't want to spill the beans, but I'll say this. We will have 18 vendors who will be available for your kids to receive tutoring at no cost. And the tutors are available in some cases face-to-face, and other cases virtually. And so you'll hear about that in about 4 weeks. And I'm so excited. So in the meantime, you have your AIR program tutoring, you have your tutor.com, and you also have any of the tutoring programs that are going on at your school. So reach out to your school to find out about more opportunities and how we are trying to make sure that if students are struggling, we're here to support them. Now that is the extra tutoring and extra support that goes beyond what we're doing in the classroom. I'm very proud of our graduation rate. It increased by almost 2 points from last year. So kudos to all of those seniors and teachers who really, and leaders who supported that. And so we're very excited about having a graduation rate at 81.1%. Now we want it to be 100%, and we're going to keep working and ensuring that we get there. But we're very pleased about the growth that we've been seeing. And we have been seeing improvements in our graduation rate ever since the state changed its calculation. We've gone from 65% all the way up to 80%. So we have had a lot of growth and improvement in graduation rate. So I'm very excited. And we will continue to and see the improvement in our academic performance as well. When we look at our data, families, we are already seeing gains, 4 and 5 points gains from previous year this time. So we know by the end of the school year, our schools are going to have, we will see great gains from 2023 to 2024. So I'm very excited about that. And so I should have waited till I got to this slide. I've already talked about some of the great things that we're doing. We are promoting reading throughout our community. We have a slogan that says, when Clayton reads, Clayton succeeds. And so I don't know if you've had a chance to see all of the little bitty libraries out by our schools, but we are making sure that we put books in every home. So we're very excited about that. And so I please ask you to encourage you to do that. As I said before, we have tutoring for all students, and that's high dosage tutoring, which I just mentioned through the AIR program to tutor.com, and a new program that's coming in about 4 weeks. We do something at Clayton County that very few school districts do. We pay for a lot of our advanced learning assessments. We pay for our kids' advanced placement tests. Did you all know that? Okay? You think a lot of school districts do that? No. We've been doing it for a long time. This is not new to Clayton. We pay for our Cambridge exams. We pay for the PS1 PSAT. And recently, a couple of years ago, we started paying for one of the SAT, what we offered here in Clayton County. And we're looking forward to next year to include the ACT. And so we're very excited about making sure that every senior, junior who's interested in going to college, we make it available so that we remove those barriers so that the students can take the assessments, and we're there to support them. All right? We also are increasing our STEM program, our science, technology, engineering, and math. It's called STEM. And some of the schools have STEAM, where they integrate the arts into the program. We have 17 STEM certified schools now, and we are getting ready to onboard more of our schools to have the STEM certification. And we have the CTAE program with all of our high schools, and we are getting ready to expand those programs as well. And not only expand the program, but we're going to modernize the programs to align them to the needs that we have in today's community. We are expanding our early learning program through building new buildings, new classrooms for pre-K, because we know that if we can catch them early in pre-K and they stay with us, they tend to do better, and our data show that when our students are here enrolled in our pre-K program, they tend to outperform those who do not attend a pre-K program or those who attend a private pre-K program. And so we're very excited about that. And then last thing, we are looking for ways to incentivize our teachers and leaders. We have almost 36 of teachers and leaders enrolled in advanced learning programs where they're earning their master's degree or specialist degree. Guess how much it costs? Free. Free 99. Okay? Free. And it's with Mercer University, Georgia State, Clark Atlanta University, and it was a Gordon College. And so we're not only looking for our students to learn, we're also looking for our staff to learn. And so we're making these opportunities for our teachers. That's one of the things. And lastly, when you ask people about the resource, if you talk to any teachers and you say, do you have everything you need? They better say yes. Because we invest a lot of money in our resources for our teachers, and our leaders can attest to that, and our teachers can attest to that. Resources that they can't find or won't find at other school districts. So I'm very, very, very proud of how we support our teachers and leaders. And so I want to shut up and allow one of our students to talk about one of the big initiatives that we have. And so it's called Back to the Basics. One of the things that we've learned is that sometimes we initiate so many programs, right? Do we agree to that? And we just get lost. And so one of the things that we're saying that we're going to do is go back to the basics. Now, back to the basics, going back to the fundamental, but not back to the fundamentals, but back to the basics by building, if you look here, academic success through intentional classroom strategies. We're being very intentional and very focused about the work. We are looking at building a better tomorrow today, not only for our school leaders, our teachers, our families, but also for our students. And so Cadet Fane is going to come up and share with you what it means for him for Back to the Basics. Here you are.
Good evening. I'm Cadet Airman Basic Darrell Payne. This is my first year in AFJRTC in the 9th grade at Morrow High School, where our motto is excellence without excuses. My cumulative GPA is a 4.0. My current position here in GA 791 is public affairs, and my future plans after high school include going to Georgia Tech to pursue a degree in engineering and to hopefully become a commercial pilot. First off, I would like to thank all of the board members, committees, staff, faculty who took out their evening to come here and watch us. So thank you. Please give a round of applause to them. Today, I'd like to discuss the Back to the Basics framework from the student's perspective. As a student at Morrow High School, I believe that Back to the Basics is a foundational acronym that all students, not just the ones at Morrow, should stand by. Some of the ways that we go back to the basics at Morrow High School include building positive relationships with others, acting responsibly, seeking and asking for support, initiating learning, collaborating with others, acting responsibly, collaborating with others, staying resilient and persistent. For example, we have a Take 5 initiative at Morrow. With Take 5, you talk with 5 adults about a problem before engaging in conflict with another student. This goes along with our first 3 basic characteristics: building positive relationships, acting responsibly, and seeking and asking for support. The 4th letter of basics stands for initiating learning. I've noticed many peers that are quite smart but have trouble asking for help. So they initiate learning by using tutor.com, a free 24/7 support resource granted by CCPS. Tutor.com allows students to connect to a tutor for assignments, projects, or tests. Finally, the letter C and S, which stands for collaborating with others, staying resilient and persistent. As an AFJRTC student who's doing 2 magnet courses, it may be quite difficult. However, a major part of AFJRTC is the people you meet. Those you meet will be the same people who help you when you need it. The same instructors who take time out of their day to help their JFR AFJRTC family. Though it may be quite difficult, if you stay resilient and persistent, no matter what happens, you'll have gained a large amount of experience, knowledge, and connections. I feel that my time at Morrow is so enjoyable due to this strategy. When all of the students and teachers are friendly, I'm able to connect with them, learn more about them, and share more about myself. When I ask for support, I know that my teachers and peers will do their best to help, because no question is a bad question. I am proud to be an AFJRTC cadet, a magnet student, and most importantly, a Morrow Mustang. It has been a pleasure to be able to give this brief explanation of Back to the Basics with you all today. Thank you for your attention. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Anthony Smith.
Thank you very much. So families, listen, we have a back to the basics for you too, okay? Are you ready? And before Dr. Smith, I definitely want to share it with you. Build the positive relationships with the staff, okay? Help us. We need you. We want to have that positive relationship. Ask questions. Please feel free to ask questions. Ask for help. We're here to support you 100%. Support reading at home. Very important. As for the I, initiate involvement with the school. C, communicate with the staff. And lastly, S, structure at home study time. And so if you follow the basics, we will continue to see the success that we are experiencing right now. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Young, and thank you to that great young cadet for supporting your presentation. He did a good job. He really did. All right, let me zip through because I want to get to hear from you. So that's priority number 2, academic achievement. The third one is financial stability. We want to make certain that you understand that we're going to spend the money wisely. We're going to be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. I want to thank you, first of all, the parents that supported eSPLOS back in March for the first time in the history of eSPLOS, affirm the continuation of the penny sales tax, but this time we did it and added $440 million of general obligation bonds in order to access funding so we can get and build and do a lot of things quickly. All right, and for the first time in 16 years, nearly 20 years, that we lowered the millage rate for our homeowners. So you can see a savings. So not only are we doing this incredible stuff moving forward, but we're also trying to make certain that we stay attuned to your pocketbook and your wallet and your purse or whatever you carry and your bank account. And that's why we saw the wisdom of reducing that millage rate. And every opportunity we see a way to do something like that, we will certainly do it. Our fourth priority is called organizational structure. We got to make certain that we're agile in our structure, not bulky. And I think we've done that by streamlining programs, by aligning folks' background, talent, and experience with their role and responsibilities. And the final priority is impacting and ensuring that we have a better infrastructure, our facilities. And that's what that eSPLOS is doing. It's allowing for us to do nearly $1 billion worth of development. As you can see this fine institution here, we're going to have many more of these kinds of schools, quality schools. As a matter of fact, I just met with the general contractor, and he gave the board members the plaque because we won an award. This school won an award for its design. One of the best built schools in the state of Georgia. So we're about quality here in Clayton County, not just building stuff. And we're doing it with great deliberance, and we're trying to be strategic about it. We're focusing on early learning, STEM education, and we're certainly going to make certain that our students have great opportunities by way of athletics. So wonderful things that we're doing, and you've seen presentations that I've shared with the general public before coming here tonight, so you kind of know what we're doing. I'm almost certain of, because we've inundated the Clayton County community with all kinds of information about what we're doing relative to our facility build out. So at this point, if I'm not messing up the flow of the program, Dr. Lee, I'm ready to take on some questions from our parents or whomever, staff members or whomever. Is that okay? Okay, where's Ms. Rice? All right, Ms. Rice, you got anybody that got a question for us? And if you don't have any questions, that's fine. That just meant that we did a good job telling you all you needed to know, and we can go home and eat supper. But I certainly stand ready, now my staff, board members, to entertain any questions or concerns or statement or comment that you might want to make. And if there's none, then there's none. And if there's none, who we got? Oh, Miss Thomas. Hold on, Miss Thomas, let me give you the mic. You soft-spoken a little bit. I want these folks to hear what you say, because whatever you say has wisdom to it.
Okay. Good evening. I don't have a question, but we've talked about parents this evening a lot. And I just want to say it's very important to engage the parents and the community. And I don't remember who said this. It was Margaret Mead. Brain is still functioning. Who said it only takes a small group of people. It always has. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember all of it. But I just want to say, when we were at old sick building Morrow, it was a small group of people who made the decision that we were getting out of that hellhole. And you don't have to agree with me because you probably weren't there a lot. But I just want to say, as the Morrow High School Council, we, at the last minute, found out that they were getting ready to hire a new principal. I think they were going to be interviewing 4 principal candidates on Monday. We found out about it on Thursday, I believe. And over the weekend, we knew what the process would be. And we each took questions, came up with questions that we would ask those candidates, because we knew one of us couldn't ask all the correct questions. Well, we chose Dr. Pitts. The school council chose Dr. Pitts. Not the school board, not the staff, but the school council, because we saw in her someone who would help us to make changes at Morrow. And I can say that she did that. Now I have to say what parents and even staff and teachers need to learn how to do. You don't have to be out front all the time. You need to know that you can go behind doors, closed doors, and make suggestions. And this does not apply to Dr. Smith, but you can collect information. If you're not a researcher, I am. I love researching. I love going to the archives. I love reading old newspaper, collecting information and saying, I got this information. If you can't do this, I can release this. You'll be surprised what you can get done. Parents, students, and teachers, you need to be familiar with the students. Take pictures for you. I shouldn't tell you that because some might be looking out for that. But I have pictures. I have documents. I have 3 or 4 boxes of papers and pictures for Morrow High that helped us to get to this point. So we have to learn how to work with one another. The staff, teachers, and the students, you have to learn how to use your students to get the information that you need, and you have to learn to let people know, you're providing me information that I need, I'm going to protect you. It does no good for me to snitch on you like the young folks say. So we have to come together. We can do anything, and it doesn't take 1,000 people. Martin Luther King didn't start out with a whole crowd. They jumped on board after they saw what he was doing. and that's throughout history. So I just want to say that and to encourage us to work together. I'm 81 years old now, so I'm trying to slow down, so some of you other folks can come forward. But I am really willing to work with people. I've done a lot of training. My line of work prepared me for Morrow High, the old Morrow High. I knew what to do, but it wasn't me. There were other people who worked with me behind the scenes and a few out there in the front. So I just want to encourage parents and students and teachers to work together to make things better, not just at Morrow, but at other schools in Clayton.
Thank you. Oh no, Mrs. Thomas, thank you so much. Anytime. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it. Where's Dr. Pam Pitts? Dr. Pitts, where are you? Come here, young lady, please, ma'am. Thank you for pointing out the rich history with Morrow High School and Dr. Pitts. And I remember that whole process, Ms. Thomas. And y'all picked a winner. Y'all really did. Y'all saw something in Dr. Pitts, and she delivered, and she did not disappoint. And I just want to publicly thank you in front of this great Morrow community, because I know that you poured your heart and soul into this community, trying to support these members of this great school system and this community. Anything you want to say to the Morrow community while you're here? She did such a great job, she just recently got promoted.
Thank you so much. It is always a pleasure to come back to Morrow High School. And indeed, we do everything in a spirit of excellence without excuses in this district. And I'm so appreciative for the Morrow High School community, as well as the Forest Park community who came out to support our school district. Our school district really is doing great things, and we're building a better tomorrow today. But we can't do that without the assistance of the community. So thank you so much for your continued support. And please know that we love your children, and we're going to do everything that we can to support your children.
Thank you, Dr. Pitts. Appreciate you. Well, if we don't have any questions, I guess I'll close by saying to you, hold on. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. It's so appropriate that Mrs. Arvis Walker helps us close out by making comments from the desk of the regional PTSA president.
Y'all are going to get that right. It's Clayton County Council PTA. One day, but I'll take that. I am Arvis Walker, the Clayton County Council PTA president, and I'm very, very proud to be here. And I thank you. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of Clayton County. You guys have truly, truly stepped up. The board members, the teachers, the principals. I see you over there, Dr. Proctor. He tried to look away, but he is the newest charter of Clayton County Council PTSA. His school is the newest charter. And we have another charter that's going on tonight at Riverdale Elementary School. They are chartering. I have some team members over there tonight that are chartering a new PTA over there. So I just want to say thank you. And I could not leave here. Once a Panther, always a Panther. Mr. Manning, that's where I started at Forest Park High School. In 2016, I started off as the PTSA president at Forest Park High School. And all my Forest Park family over there, thank you. But I just wanted to say thank you to the entire Clayton County community. You guys have truly, truly stepped up when it comes to parent, teacher, student involvement. But parent involvement is immaculate. And I can't leave without thanking our parent liaisons. Our parent liaisons are the glue that are calling me. I see you back there. I see you as far as Ms. James. And I see Morrow Middle. I see you over there, Miss Phil. Yes. Thank y'all and the rest of you all. But the parent liaisons are like, they need a raise, y'all. They are like the glue. So thank you. And Dr. Gainey, we worked with him when our son was at Adamson Middle School. But thank you all. Keep doing it. Parents, keep coming out. We need you all. We need you all to come into these schools. We need you here. With the VOP, we cannot do this alone. Thank you, Ms. Rice, for helping us and being a part of PTSA, and thank you all for being here. Mr. Harrell, we cannot do this without you. Thank you. He brought the PTSA back into his school this year, so thank you for that. And I'm just proud to be a part of it.
We thank you, ma'am. You have such incredible... Absolutely. I told you we got 2 for 1. 2 for 1, y'all. And thank you, Mrs. Walker, for that and for acknowledging those great people and those parent liaisons and plugging for them to get a raise. All right. I think Colonel Scott King wanted to make a comment or two.
Good evening, and now I want to welcome all of you once again to Morrow High School. We have a great vision here at Morrow High School. Dr. Smith, we've been working together for years. He hired me from DeKalb County years ago, but every time he talks about the ROTC program here lately, he says, Colonel King and Chief Walker, Colonel King and Chief Walker. That's Chief Walker right there. But I take the mic to say, it's not just me and Chief Walker. Once we got to Morrow High School, the backbone of the ROTC program stands on this lady's shoulders right here. Tech Sergeant Linnell Deloitte-Brewster. Please give her a round of applause. Please give her a round of applause. Without her, me and Chief Walker would be nothing, and that's the absolute truth. She's the backbone. She does the majority of the work, and I just want to get her some recognition tonight. So please give her another round of applause.
I certainly do appreciate you correcting me and pointing that out. And I vow from this point forward that I'll make certain that I make the community and whatever audience I'm speaking in front of understand that you're the one who really makes this program go. And that is absolutely the case. I've seen you in action, ma'am, and I thank you for that. My mistake for not doing it. I've just been knowing Chief Walker and Colonel King for 20 years. But I know what you do over here and for these kids, so thank you. Yes, ma'am. Well, anyway, yes, sir, I got a student. You a student? Oh, yes, sir. I want to hear from you, brother.
My name is Edward. I go to Jonesboro High School. I currently got, my dad is up there interpreting, so. I just wanted to come out here and say thank you to Dr. Proctor and Mr. Blocker. I've currently just moved to Jonesboro 2 years ago. It was kind of a tough ride for me, come to a new school, didn't really know anybody. I definitely made some mistakes while I was there, and I want to let the students know that there is support no matter where you go.
Appreciate that. I don't think much else needs to be said, y'all. Y'all take care. Have a good night. Have a safe trip home. Thank you for coming out.